Well, coming up next is Shane Back in the Attitude Adjuster in the far lane, the 23 Alter T. There's Shane out of Jeffersonville, Kentucky, and he pulls alongside Tom Martin in another Mud Patrol entry, a 32 Chevy Coupe.
I tell you what, this sport is getting a lot of popularity, and these two guys are starting to develop a following back out of the Bluegrass State. Martin, he's from up in the north, but they run each other all over the country. They're trying to go after a 279 on what was called a moment ago a fuzzy track. Let's see. Martin goes out first, gets a little bit hooked up.
Hang on.
Where's Back? Okay.
Oh, hold your breath on that one. Martin at 2.903, but he almost wiped out two cars there, and there's Shane Back's 3.10.
Gary, that had to affect that man, seeing the other man in his lane. Even though you're running a clock, that's got to hurt you, doesn't it?
Well, obviously your vision is very wide driving race cars, and he could see exactly what was happening off to his left. That is very disconcerting, as you indicated. They're both hard on the binders, sliding to a stop. Once again, no contact being made as we look one more time. And you can see
that's awesome.
Tom come across through the cones, and right there he almost makes contact. Let's go down and talk now to Tom Martin.
A 2909, a wet, muddy, cold 2909, I might add. Are you satisfied with that?
I'm real satisfied. You know, took off great, hit second gear, and everything went black. I got a lot of shape out there. Hope I didn't scare that other guy. Scared me a little bit, but I want to thank everyone for helping me get here. We had a good time, and I'm happy with it.
Tom, I like that Mud Pack beauty treatment you're using there. All right, we take a look at a good-looking 48 Fiat, a Power Pro. That's the Executioner, and this is John Summers. There's your time to beat as he takes on John Harmon in the Street 46 Jeep.
Harmon leads first. You know, I'm amazed at the caliber of racing we're seeing here today.
A lot quicker than we had anticipated. John Harmon with his 310. The Executioner with Mike Summers turns in a 330. So indeed, the track a lot faster than we had anticipated. Well, coming up next, there is Lightfoot. Bill Oldenwald in his 32 Chevy Coupe, and Tom Marsh will pull alongside in the Intruder. There's a look at Oldenwald from Decatur, Michigan, in the vehicle he calls Lightfoot. There is Tom Marsh in the purple and yellow Intruder. Tom comes out of Vandalia, Ohio, a suburb of Dayton, Ohio. So he's had about a 2-hour drive to get to the Indiana State Fairgrounds here in Indianapolis.
You know, Gary, either of these guys could still be a player. At 279, even though it's a new record, shows it can happen. And the track is just kind of fooling everybody. I think what they do, they go out there to take their best shot and hope the number sticks. Look at Marsh. That's a good run.
Oh, he laid down an excellent run. Tom Marsh out of Vandalia, Ohio, the Intruder. And the time on that run of 3.04. And looking at the other lane, Bill Oldenwald. There was his time.
Look how slick the top of the... See, the water, by having so much water, it's going back and it's settling itself. It's getting smoother quicker.
It's finding its own level.
Yeah, but also notice halfway through the run, Marsh kicks his face mask up too. So all the drivers are having trouble seeing on, again, as Finley called it, this fuzzy track.
And looking at the leaderboard now, once again, Ron Smith lays down that record run in Gold Fever at 279. Then Tom Martin in the Mud Patrol at 290. And Jeremy Finley in the S-Kicker at 293. More mud racing from the State Fairgrounds coming up on Trucks and Tractor Power. Welcome back to Indy. Here's Army with more on those sloppy conditions.
Hey, Gary, when we started the show, we said there's a yin and a yang. The yin being the horsepower, the yang being the track conditions. There could be a thump, too. Look what they're trying to look through, Gary. There's so much mud and soup out there. The guys are saying they're not seeing the last 2/3 of the track. They're just driving by feel. Back to you, Gary.
Here's a look at what we're talking about. We mentioned earlier the mud mask beauty treatment. Look at this. And that comes as a result of runs like these from earlier in the competition. This is Mike Hickerson in Mind Games. He has to get that visor up so he can see to bang off the wall. That was a 4.98. Henry Mattingly up in the Magnum Force. Well, he's using all the property and then some.
He got up where it's high and dry. I don't blame him
It was
a bit.
also DQ'd. Melvin Brown in the Blue Max. Has to get the visor up as well, driving with one hand. Wild run.
Yeah, but to these guys, Gary, that mud is a badge of honor.
Well, Rusty Foster in the appropriately named vehicle, Real Excitement, taking on Stanley Trimble in its T-Rat.
Trimble's a school teacher out of the Bluegrass State. He goes at 337.
Maybe he needs some driver's education as he infringed on the other lane there. Bob Marshall up next and beating the odds.
Told you about the yin yang and thump, but right here Marshall gets thumped in the face with the mud and has to burp the throttle just to get through. He didn't try to drive the last half, Gary. He just wanted to get out of this thing.
And back at the starting line, there's Donnie Klink Jr. and Wild Thing. And that is as clean as he's going to look all day out of Phillipsburg, Ohio.
You going to take a picture of O'Donnell? You better do it now.
And here is Mark Semper in the Chevy pickup Wild Bosco. Mark is out of Fresno, California. He's come a long way back to the Midwest to race.
Let me tell you, I've seen this guy before. He'll tap dance in a minefield for you. He likes to really put it literally on kill. What did I say?
Laid down a good run.
Oh, man. That guy will rock and roll you.
Not quite fast enough, though. That is good for fourth position. 2.93 for Mark Semper. And the Wild Thing, Donnie Klink at 3.64.
Gary, you got to remember, though, the magic number in this sport is 3 seconds. This guy goes sub 3 on a less than ideal condition.
Yeah, you'd think that'd be quick enough to put him in the top 3, but right now that's good enough for fourth position. So let's go down trackside and visit with Mark Semper.
You got a 2.932. I understand that puts you in the number 4 spot. You got to be tickled to death with that.
Oh yeah, after everything that's happened this weekend, I'm happy just to be in somewhere in the top 10 with this many good competitors.
All right, let's talk about these competitors. You guys in California, you get to come over here and run with these guys. Is this the kind of competition you thought would be? And if so, you're definitely a player with them. You can run with these guys.
Oh yeah, we're hoping to be competitive with the cars back east. They're supposed to be really fast, in which they are. It's just nice to see this many good competitors all assembled at the same time for one of these TNN shows. We really enjoy it.